Hey, how are you doing? My name is Joshua Grainer, and I'm a men's health and performance specialist. And today I'm going to do a quick little 15-minute presentation on some strategies you can use to optimize your health and performance. And while this is for all men, this is really specifically for men 40 and over. So while the information here can apply to anybody, any man who wants to improve their health and performance, really we're focused today on men 40 and over. And this is what we're going to be doing. I'm going to outline a simple strategy you can use, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about what I do specifically. All right. So let's talk a little bit about who I am. So over the past 25 years, I've been a healthcare provider working in combat medicine, sports medicine, physical rehab, pain management, and addiction medicine. And then in 2018, after going through my own kind of major health challenge myself, I turned my sights to helping middle-aged men improve their health because I noticed there was a huge gap of care here in the United States as it relates to men's health. Because so much of the information in health media is really just absolute garbage. And unfortunately, many of the common practices in healthcare and medicine really aren't much better, as many of them are based on speculation rather than data, and they're often driven by insurance reimbursements rather than science. So unfortunately, much of what the doctors told me when I was going through my own health crisis, both it was a physical and mental condition, it was overly generalized advice that at the best was ineffective, but in some cases was actually harmful. So while the information in the media is mostly focused on physique goals, the advice from typical medical care is focused on preventing death without much attention paid to what's in between, which is improving our health span, quality of life, and actual physical and mental performance. Because the problem is that for men, as we age, as we cross the 40-year threshold, we all undergo changes to our metabolism, to our hormones, body composition, cognitive function. We're more prone to injury. We take longer to heal, and we lose strength and muscle mass faster than we used to. Also, our risks for diseases of decline like heart disease, cancer, and dementia increase. And we're also seeing a spike in diseases of despair, things like anxiety, depression, and chronic stress in men 40 and over. So while the information about men's health in the media is focused mostly on physique goals and much of what's in current medical care is overgeneralized, there really isn't a lot of good information out there to help us navigate these complex situations. In addition, if we look at the relationship between lifespan, health span, and retirement, the life expectancy for men in the US is currently about 76 years, and it's not projected to increase much. But the problem is we're retiring later. So in 2019, the current age of retirement for men in the US was 65, but it's expected to increase to 68 by 2025. And some models predict the average age of retirement for men in 2040 to be as high as 70 to 75. And I'm already seeing that. So while lifespan is expected to remain stable, health span and quality of life are predicted to decrease over the next 20 years. So once I became aware of these trends and started doing some digging and some research myself, I realized we actually have a lot more control over our short-term and long-term health and performance. And there are some very real things that we can do to increase our likelihood of a long and healthy life. So my mission is really threefold. It's to help men improve their health and performance so they feel great, they look great, perform at their peak here, now, in the near future and beyond. And also to give my clients a science-based roadmap and the support they need to increase their health span and lifespan in the distant future. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But finally, one of the things I think is really important is the work that I do really, in my mind and my heart, is to support our youth by helping their fathers or future fathers to optimize their health. Because what our children need are fathers who are healthy, well-balanced, present, and have the energy to raise them well. The approach that I use is unique in that I look at our health as a health investment strategy. I look at it very similar to how I would think about financial investments and retirement planning, meaning that you need very specific goals, you need an informed strategy, and you need a diversification of your asset classes and specific tools. So when we talk about specific goals, unfortunately, most guys' goals, they are related to having more energy, performing better at work, improving their financial success, physique, and sexual performance goals. And I say unfortunately, not because there's anything really wrong with these goals, but the means to achieve them are often built upon hacks, and they create short-term results that are overly focused on accomplishment, status, and aesthetics over long-term health. In fact, some strategies men use to achieve their immediate goals can actually be hurting their long-term health. So these are things like indiscriminate use of hormone replacement or supplements to increase certain hormones, most specifically testosterone. And also things like excessive reliance on nootropics and stimulants in order to increase performance. But there's a lot of things. There's so much misinformation that's out there that, a lot of times when I first start working with guys, I realize that the strategy they've been used is really not a strategy at all. They've just been kind of running around from trying one thing to the next and just trying to see what works. But a lot of times not doing it long enough to see, one, does it have a positive effect? Two, is it going to be negative for the health? Or three, trying to figure out how that fits within a cohesive strategy. So one of the first exercises that I have my clients do is to imagine how long they expect to live and exactly what they want to be doing for the last 10 years of their life, right? So this is in the same way we'd think about our retirement. You imagine, into the future. This is a process called backcasting. Imagine into the future. How long do I expect to live? And during that last 10 years of my life, specifically, how do I want to be? What are the very specific activities that I want to be doing? And then we reverse engineer their health and performance strategy to work towards those specific goals. And what's interesting is while our primary goal is overall health and improvement and increasing lifespan and health span, the side effect is that their energy increases, performance at work improves, they feel more confident, and their physique naturally changes. So while that isn't our primary goal, it's often, almost always, a great side effect. Because essentially what we're trying to do is I'm trying to remove the guesswork out of your goal setting, trying to help you to understand how your health works, how all these different things fit together, right? We do this by helping you to optimize your health performance, which really just means simply to align your behaviors with your biological, emotional, and cognitive needs. When our behaviors and our physiological needs, our mental needs, our emotional needs, when those are in alignment, we will thrive. When those things are out of alignment, we'll often suffer. And a lot of disease that, I believe that is really in many ways the root cause of most diseases. So in order to remove the guesswork out of your goal setting, we take into consideration a bunch of different factors, including your family health history, your personal health history, and we look at very specific biomarkers to inform our efforts. This is like blood work, wearable data, mental and physical fitness assessments. And then we use that information to create a diversified health investment strategy. So once we know what your current health status is, once we know what your goals are and can anticipate your challenges, we then craft a customized plan to help get you there by creating a diversified health investment strategy that's unique to you. So diversifying your health portfolio, really what we're doing is we're looking at three main areas, or in this analogy, you can think about them as asset classes. And this is your physiological health, your emotional health, and your cognitive. And if you return back to the definition of optimum health and performance being in alignment with your physiological, emotional, and cognitive needs, it makes sense that these are the three places to invest our time and our effort. So as we focus on physiological health, the main parameters, the main factors that we're looking at primarily are metabolic health, your cardiovascular, your hormonal, sexual and reproductive health, mobility of your body, of your joints, strength, stamina, and aerobic efficiency. As we focus on your emotional health, we're primarily looking at helping you to improve your stress management and stress reduction, helping you to build more resilience and to optimize your autonomic nervous system. So that way you can deal with the increasing complex demands put on your time, put on your energy, put on your attention. And then I'll give you some tools that I've learned both as a professional, but also in my own life for healthy relationships. And it's not because I think I'm some type of relationship guru, but I've recognized that as a man, I've often avoided reaching out to learn how to relate to my primary partners or to my family. So having tools, having strategies, having someone to talk to about around my relationship has been very helpful, and I found that's very helpful for my clients as well. And then we also discuss your career fulfillment and satisfaction, right? So all these things fit together into your emotional health. And then as we focus on your cognitive health, it pretty much all boils down to this one thing, which is attention optimization. Memory is generally not a memory issue. Even in advanced dementia, a lot of times it is an attention issue. So by learning how to optimize your attention, you're actually improving your memory, improving your mental productivity, you're improving your creativity. And we can also do this by helping you to manage your distractions and how to manage your time. Because when it comes down to it, our energy, our time, and our attention, these are assets that we have that we can never really get them back. So, these are critical to our health. And the more we can safeguard these three things, the better we're going to perform mentally and emotionally. Because as we do these things, you'll notice that your productivity increases and that you'll be more effective and efficient with your time. And one of the things I'm really interested in is helping to drive myself, but also helping my clients drive them into flow state. And I've done a lot of study, I've done a lot of research in this. I've been both a student of the Flow Research Collective, and I've also worked for the Flow Research Collective. And I've designed programs specifically to help people get into flow state easily and accessibly. So what does this look like working with me? So first, we'll meet for a 30-minute free consultation to see what your needs are, determine your goals, and see if we're a good fit to work together. If it's a good fit, then we'll start with a 12-week program, which is broken down into 3 phases. The first phase, which is the measure and learn phase, this is dedicated to making sure we have a very clear picture of where you are currently, where you want to be, and what's standing in the way. So this includes getting initial lab work and other biometrics that we'll use to build your health and performance plan. During this phase, I'll also help you identify the low-hanging fruit. These are the areas of your life where you can make easy changes that will have a lasting impact on your long-term health and performance. So by the end of these first 3 to 4 weeks, you'll have a clear roadmap, of exactly what you need to improve your performance and reach your long-term health goals. Which is organized and broken down into very achievable steps. Sorry if this is sounding a little bit broken up. I'm trying to read at the same time. Make sure that I don't miss anything. In the second phase, this is focused on helping you to keep consistent in achieving your goals. For most clients that I work with, this is one of the hardest parts because it requires paying close attention to your patterns of belief and behavior that keep you stuck in your old ways of operating. Let's face it, behavior change is not easy. It's generally pretty hard, and especially for behaviors that patterns of emotional patterns, of mental patterns, mindset patterns, and patterns of behavior that have been there for a very long time. It can be very hard to change. This doesn't mean that they can't be changed, and it doesn't mean they shouldn't be changed. In fact, I think they should, in order to maintain an ultimately adaptive state of mind and a very rich, neurodiverse brain. It's really important to question our biases and our beliefs, right? To be able to change our behaviors if they don't serve us. So during this phase, there's a lot of trying and failing, as you'll learn how to implement these new health and lifestyle changes, and as you work through your resistance to change. And during this phase, we're still monitoring many of your biometrics and doing periodic performance assessments to inform us about your progress and to help keep you on track. And in phase 3, this is where we keep the momentum going. So in the third phase, our goal is to continue monitoring your data, to assess progress and make adjustments to your health and performance strategy in order to maximize both efficiency and effectiveness of your efforts. After about 8 weeks of growing, learning, and building momentum, you will find your stride where your resistance to change begins to fall away, and it becomes easier for you to make progress in the goals you are focusing on. At the end of this phase, we will order labs again and compare your values to those at the beginning of the program to get an idea of your progress at the physiological level. We will then decide how to proceed with your health and performance goals beyond these 12 weeks. So a lot of my clients will opt to continue with me for another 3 to 6 months, while some opt to check in every month or just keep me on retainer. So where we go from there is completely up to you. But my goal is to have you on a successful path by week 12. So even if we don't continue working together, you've made some very positive changes in your life and have a health and performance roadmap to follow in the future. So now this comes down to a couple different questions. You can ask yourself right now, what is my health and performance like right now? Are there any areas that I want to improve? How long do I want to live? And how do I want to be living for my last 10 years? And finally, do I have a plan? And if you'd like some help answering these questions, I'm happy to meet with you for a 30-minute consultation. So if you're looking at this on my website or watching this on my website, you can just click on the link below, which will take you to a form. And then that way we can connect that way. You can also just email me. Here's my email address. Email address. You can also go to my URL. You can go to my website, or you can even just call or text me directly. Okay, I hope this was helpful. I'm looking forward to answering your questions and meeting you in person if it's in the stars. Okay, take care.